It's an unusual thing to have to explain to people that archaeologists don't actually know where all the sites are. We're still finding them. So in 3 years of the project, we've recorded 200,000 sites. We're covering everything from Mauritania to Iran, and then they can make decisions based on that knowledge.
At the very least, if things are to be destroyed because of the needs to expand agriculture, because of urban expansion, etc., then we'd like to know what there was once there before it goes forever.
The EAMENA staff have developed a methodology, so each day they're looking at satellite imagery and making interpretations, so actually scrolling through kilometre by kilometre tracts of land where we know there's archaeological sites or we know that there is threats to archaeology, and then they make a record in the database to say what it is, what they think the threat to it is. We started the EAMENA project in 2015 thanks to a major donation from the Arcadia Fund. Conflict was the stimulus for the project, but the major agent of destruction is agricultural intensification, road building, dam building, expansion of villages, towns, cities. If there are 2,500 archaeologists in Britain, there's probably only 20 or 30 who do air photo interpretation. We need to be able to transfer this to as many people as possible because there are so few people doing it. That's why we've gone from what I thought would be a small project to a project now where there's about 35 people helping. We're also working with our partners in the countries through the Cultural Protection Fund money, which is a British Council organised fund, to train local archaeologists in Tunisia, Libya, Palestine, Jordan, Egypt, Lebanon and Iraq, and now more recently in Yemen as well, so that they can understand the methodology. We transfer the skills because it's one thing to have a group of archaeologists in Oxford and then colleagues in Durham and Leicester doing it, but to make an impact, it's got to be the local archaeologist looking after their archaeology. It's their heritage.
Each of those trained people becomes a trainer and can spread these skills. In the end, it's very difficult to monitor the archaeology of tens of thousands of sites already in our database, but it's going to potentially be millions of sites.
And then once people get initial skills in these kinds of things, in how to use a GIS software, how to find and download a free satellite image and how to process it, people can then go ahead and do more tutorials on it, do more reading on it and really increase their skills.
The goal is to record and to collect some details and information about an archaeological sites. So by using Google Imagery, GIS, or by visiting the site on the ground, in my point of view, is the same.
Our ultimate aim is that cultural heritage protection should become an integral part of the planning process in MENA countries, just as it is across much of Europe now.
We had a conference in Tunisia in December, and actually it was the members of the conference, particularly the senior people from the Departments of Antiquities from North Africa and the Middle East, who said, can we as a conference make a statement that the digital recording of the archaeological sites is a priority across the region?
A lot of people ask us about picking up the sites themselves using machine learning. That's actually quite difficult because different regions, different places, different sites will have different properties. It's not really uniform, so it'd be very difficult to train a computer to do that. But there's definitely a lot of scope already for automated mapping of damage, of change that is affecting sites, and that can speed up recording. So for example, if we want to look at where some modern fields are built, if new ones are built within sort of a kilometre of an archaeological site, that might be a warning sign. And then if it's more are being built very close to it, then that's probably going to destroy that site unless it can be at least be recorded or perhaps protected. So yeah, it's just a way of monitoring where that's happening across really large areas as quickly as possible.
The Middle East and North Africa doesn't have a monopoly on destruction of sites. It's happening worldwide. It just so happens that we've had to contain this ambitious project to 20 countries.
What's been quite influential, especially in Middle Eastern archaeology and remote sensing, has been the declassification of a lot of Cold War imagery, because it shows a lot of places before recent changes damaged them, so a lot of sites are visible.
It's pretty heartbreaking to look at these time slices, and 5 years ago there was the site, 3 years ago half of it had gone, and now on the latest image we can see an entire site, an important site has been destroyed. However, through this process of recording, we are at least trying to preserve some of the information. It's not totally lost.
And I think that the pace of change now, particularly in the Middle East and North Africa, is so great. If we don't do it now, the next generation there'll be virtually nothing left.